Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk about remaining motivated and how to remain motivated. So today I'm gonna get a little personal, talk about myself a little bit, and what really keeps me motivated, what keeps me going, what keeps me driven, what keeps me uh, out here when I'm, tired, as you can see, and still getting after it, still working hard. I'm at work super early. Doors not even open yet, and I'm just getting after it at the time of the recording of this video. So, why uh, am I so motivated? Why do I work so hard? It was actually dark when I started filming, and finally the sun is out. But it's going to be different for everyone, and um, when I talk about delaying gratification. I talk to my friends all the time and I tell them how much I want a Tesla Model Y or how much I want a massage chair. Those are the two things I've really wanted for some time now. And, we're starting to see a drop in the Tesla Model Y prices. And of course, you can get massage chairs at a discounted rate during Black Friday and other points in the season. But why haven't I gotten these things? Of course, I have the money to definitely afford a massage chair, and I can definitely afford the payments on a Tesla Model Y. So why haven't I gotten these things? Well, the truth of the matter is, if I'm paying $70,000 for a vehicle, but let's say I don't have $70,000 in retirement or $70,000 in savings, or $70,000 in equity in my homes. And then even if I did have 70K in all three of those individual areas, why would I still get a car that is equal to the equity in my homes or equal to the money that I've invested in the markets, or equal to what was the last one? Well, you get the point. You can search back and see what that one was. My savings, right? 70K in savings. Why would I get a car that's worth that much when obviously if I put 70K towards my investments, I would yield more profits, and that will greatly impact my life, especially as young as I am. Or if I took that 70K and I put that in my home as equity, that reduces the amount of years left on my mortgage, the amount of interest that I pay for, a long period of time. Now, obviously, money plays a big part. How much you earn plays a big part in what you're looking to buy in terms of a vehicle as well. If I made 400,000 a year, I wouldn't necessarily think twice about a $70,000 vehicle. But if you make less than $400,000 a year, it may be wise to, think a little bit harder about this. Is this something that I should buy, right? Because if the vehicle was $15,000, I would have already had it, right? If the vehicle was $15,000, I would have already had it, but it's not. And just because I can afford something at 70 doesn't necessarily mean that I should. Because again, those payments, I'm still not putting those similar payments towards the home. Maybe I'm saving the money. Maybe I'm investing some of it here and there, but I'm not putting $800 of car payments towards my house when I can easily do that, right? And start to pay off my homes quicker. So when you look at these things, maybe let's say I had the houses paid off completely, then I can say, okay, I can justify a purchase like that because it's a one-time purchase. After that, I'll be able to drive the car for 5-6 years, still sell it for maybe 40-50,000, and drive off with another car of similar value. But now I'm not paying 70K to get into the next vehicle anymore, right? I'm paying a little bit less, and that improves my lifestyle now without the need of expending as much as I did previously. But one thing I do know about a car is that the better the car, the nicer the car, the more you need to maintain it, the more you need to, fix every dink, every, whatever the case may be. So having a little bit of an older car this time around has allowed me peace of mind and not having to fork over tons and tons of money in order to repair my car. When I had a newer Chevy model, I probably spent about $3,000 in 2020 just fixing every little scratch and dink that car had. But in this car, with every scratch and dink, I've probably only spent maybe $400 in total to get this car, to where it's at right now. And does it run better? Does it smell better? Does it move better? Does it drive better? No, but it gets me from point A to point B. It's solid. It does what it needs to do. So I can't really complain. And so when people ask me, do I have reliable transportation? I say yes. That's all that matters. So without further ado, what really keeps me motivated? What keeps me wanting to be out here super, super early for work while I'm so tired, while these bags are in my eyes? Well, what motivates me is legacy. Again, being able to provide something for my future family that maybe I necessarily didn't have. Being able to have that time with my family when I want to have that time with my family. Being able to provide the things that they want, whether it be sports, whether it be anything else in between. Being able to say yes rather than say no. Because I've said no to everything else in the short term in my life. I'll be able to say yes to everything else in the longer term of my life. Because when you decide to have children eventually, you got to understand that they're really under your care for 21 years, right? For the first 3 years of that life, they're not asking you for a thing. But of course, the stuff that you have to spend money on just to prepare for them is very expensive for year 1 and year 2. From 3 to 5, you're probably not going to have too many expenses and wants and needs. A cookie here or there will keep your child happy, right? From 7 to 9, really the same thing, but now with a little bit of schooling involved. And then from 10 to, let's say, 10 to 17, you're now providing for their wants and needs for a good 7 years. After that, depending on your parenting, you would want them to get a little bit of that on their own and work towards that. So for a good 9 years or so of their life, you're literally pouring money into your child, right? From 1 to 2 and from about 10 to 17. With that being said, are you going to be able to provide the wants and needs of that child? Are you going to be able to do as a man or woman should do for their child, right? When people say, oh yeah, my child will have everything. Of course, I'm not looking to spoil children, but spoil is the right term, because a lot of these children literally do get spoiled, and once you're spoiled, you can't be back to unexpired, right? So you gotta grow up with the right traits, the right qualities, the right things. And so when I say no, I want to say no from a place of I can do, but I won't do because it's not right for you. But when I say no, I don't want it to be because I simply can't do it. So again, in improving myself, I want to improve my financial future. And a lot of my friends know, hey, I want to get the new Tesla. But in doing so, am I missing out on $70,000 worth of gains in the stock market, $70,000 in savings? or $70,000 that I could put towards my equity rather than the new car, especially as young as I am, right? And then do I make $400,000 a year in order to justify me having a $70,000 vehicle that would do the same as a $30,000 or $40,000 vehicle? So all these things come into question. Although I want a Tesla, is it the right car for me? Does it provide me a value that justifies an additional $40,000 being spent? And in my case, probably $60,000 being spent because I have a car, it works just fine. So when you look at all these things, you want to ensure that you're not digging yourself in a hole. And it might not be, oh yeah, I buy the car and then, my life turns upside down. Absolutely not, right? I'll have the car and I'll still be living the same old normal life. But what happened was I denied myself all the investing that came with that money. I denied myself all the interest that came with that money. I denied myself the future profits that would come with that money. And I'm never going to get that back because you only have one life to live. And I've essentially lived about a quarter of my life already. So for 2 other quarters of my life, about another half of my life, that $70,000 could have been working for me. That $70,000 could have yielded a lot of fruit for me. That $70,000 can be something that I look back on and say, wow, I really did that. I really accomplished so much. I really, put my best foot forward. Seeing that in investments over a 20-year period is definitely going to yield more fruit than seeing it in a vehicle that's going down in value. And so now that we actually see Teslas dropping in value now, due to electric cars constantly emerging and new models still being pushed out and rolled out every single year, you can see that, when they say Teslas maintain their value, hold their value, hold their value, essentially it's a car. And what cars do is depreciate, and eventually that depreciation is going to start to kick in. There's only so long that you can hold the value of a vehicle. Once demand starts to dwindle down, which it should and will within the next 5 years or so, you'll see a drop in these prices, and you'll also see more affordable brands come about. And I may not even be in a Tesla by the time I decide to get an electric vehicle. So what motivates me aside from legacy is just knowing that I have peace of mind, knowing that I have independence, knowing that I can clock in and out when I want to clock in and out, knowing that I don't have to take nothing from an employer that I don't want to take because I have roommates to pay my rent. I have a tenant that pays me on time. I have investments. I have savings that I've put aside. I've done the things that I needed to do in order to ensure that I do not struggle and that I can choose which job I want and what I do. So when I go to work because I want to have fun. I go to work because it excites me. I go to work because it keeps me mentally sane. Like literally, I'm someone who has to work just to, drive myself, because without it, what is there for me to do at this point in time, right? So yeah, I go to work to literally motivate myself. I drive myself, give me some purpose outside of, family and things like that. So those are the things that motivate me. What motivates me is independence, not living paycheck to paycheck. Just being able to say yes or no to things confidently, knowing that I have the money to do it, but I'm responsible enough to not do it. Knowing that if I want to make memories, I can go ahead and do that. Knowing that if I want to travel, I can go ahead and do that. But essentially, a lot of the times I don't do any of these things. I'm not trying to flex for the gram. I'm not trying to show off on Facebook or anything like that. I'm not trying to impress people. I'm not trying, right? But I know that my lifestyle in itself is impressive because, okay, you bought these properties that were only for your own benefit and your own good, for your legacy, for your future, to start working down on chipping away at that mortgage, right? And so essentially what I did was I fast-tracked myself in a way that honestly it shows that I've worked super, super hard and I've achieved things that most people don't in a short period of time. But not only did I do all that, I've also only done things that I knew were going to be beneficial to not only myself but my legacy and those around me. And in turn, you know, you garner a lot of attention, you garner a lot of respect just by doing the normal things in life. So when I do decide to get a car that is more expensive, I hope that I'm in a position to where it's really a tax write-off for me. It's really something to alleviate my tax burden. It's really something to uh, basically counteract me just giving all my money to the government and using it for something more fun, like a Tesla or whatever vehicle comes out. So, I mean, that's where I want to get financially, to where I'm buying a vehicle because I have to rather than because I want to. And in a good way, not in a bad way. So all of that sounds great. And, you know, you got to work towards that. And you see me putting in the work. You see me putting in the effort. You see me making these videos right before I clock in and do another 10 hours, right? So, like, this is why I do these things, and this is why you improve your circle. This is why you improve the people you're around, because you want people to be on the same page as you. You want people to talk that talk. You want people to keep you motivated, keep you going. I gotta motivate myself to make these videos now. I gotta, you know, put myself in that mindset. Like, you know what? I'm sitting here, I'm waiting. Let me go and crank one of these out. You know, so like, again, what keeps me motivated is just, in order to have that self-motivation, you have to have a vision. You have to have a want. You got to have something that you need that's way more important than anything that you would need right now, right? Way more important than anything that you want right now. And if that's just simply not being in the same situation, not being a burden on others, not being someone that always has to constantly ask people for money or constantly want from others because you can't do for yourself. How do you stop doing that? How do you put yourself in a position to where you're the one in control of your life? People are asking you how you're doing. People are essentially asking you for money. And whether you like that or not, it's a good thing, because you are now capable of providing for other people rather than just yourself. And that speaks a lot on your character. That speaks a lot on the volume that you're doing. That speaks a lot on your productivity to society. That speaks a lot on who you are. And, you know, so you can choose what you want to be. You can choose how you want to live. But essentially, everybody has a goal that they want to reach. How strong is that goal? How strong is that motivation for you? And will you delay the things of now for what you want then? So again, you know, you just got to find that motivation. I only spoke for what motivates me personally. But if you found this video useful and enjoyable, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.